It's time, folks, for the Dopamine Revolution podcast. I'm Sean David Cohen, your host. Today's topic, Cancer 101. This is the ultimate symbiosis of mind and body, where we promote and protect the holy grail of brain juice, the elixir of life, dopamine. Yes, welcome to the high frequency holistic living network. Join the revolution of healthy souls here on the Holistic Living Network. The insight, the research, it's all brought together, put into layman's terms, digestible format, so you can live healthy and not suffer from all the chemicals in the food. Nobody wants cancer. Some people, they just don't pay attention to what they eat for years. And then they got to go into the hospice and get the drip, the dreaded drip. They get surgery, they get the drip, the chemo. And sometimes it works. God bless those folks that it works for. But the suffering can be immense. And some people, it comes back, or the suffering's just so bad from the chemicals, they say, enough. Someone rescue me. I'll do it. I'll do it. They raise their hand. Someone, I'm ready to go holistic. Please. I'll do the clean food thing. I'll do whatever you say now. Because feeling nauseous is the worst, you know? And you just hear these horror stories where people they got to smoke weed when they're on chemo just to feel balanced for a little while, just to have an appetite for a little while, just so they can get some food down, get some nutrition. It's a horror story. I know. I've had friends and their mothers or their best friends just suffering through that. So we're going to go over the different kinds of cancer, what cancer is, okay, exactly what it is, because a lot of people, they just don't understand what is cancer. You know, you can Google it and it's medical terminology, you still don't get it. I have a book from 10 years ago. It's published, Don't Eat Cancer, because the majority of cancer cases originate and flourish from eating toxic food stuff. That's most of them. 4 out of 5 cases. All of them are propelled by it. They're catapulted from the chemicals in food. And most of them start from there. And you can end most cancer cases. You can prevent it and end it and reverse it by eating clean. Period. You can get rid of most of it. And that same book I wrote was translated that year into Chinese. Right here, if you're watching my podcast, Don't Eat Cancer. They did it in Chinese, sent me a check for $4,000. They were like, here, we want to put this in Mandarin. It's in Mandarin. It's so cool. And they put these little pictures of Pac-Man eating away at the toxic food on the cover. It was a completely new design on the cover. So awesome. Yeah, they knew I was right. The Chinese, they know. They eat clean. I mean, they live in such a polluted environment over there in China. The industrial world is horrific over there, and they have no choice. If they want to live a long, fruitful life, they've got to eat clean. They know. They've got the herbs over there, the herbs and tinctures. They know. Look up Chinese medicine. They know. So here we go. We're going to take the dye out of your diet, the D-I-E and the D-Y-E. We're going to take the toxic dye out of your diet, whatever you're eating. We're going to take it out. Start this one off with the top cancer foods. No, you know what? I'm going to start this one off with the definition of cancer so you know what it is, and then we're going to go right into the foods. So the definition of cancer is the uncontrolled growth and spread of abnormal cells, okay? They're mutated cells that invade and destroy healthy tissues through a process known as metastasis. That's the spreading of the cells. They cruise around in the body, okay? Wherever they start, they cruise around in the bloodstream and the lymph. They cruise around and they find damaged tissue, okay? Tissue that has been damaged over and over and over and over time. So if you're a smoker, it's your mouth, throat, and lung tissue, the epithelial tissue that's inside, that lines the inside of our body. It gets burned, and the chemicals cruise over those burned areas, those smoked out areas. The fluoride, the bleach, the formaldehyde, the pesticides, all of that stuff in cigarettes, and it cruises over the damaged epithelial tissue, and it gets damaged over and over and over, and you've got these cancer cells developing. Everybody's got some. Your body just beats them back, and you live on. But if they find that damaged tissue, they move in for the kill. It's like the sugar supply, and the ants are going to live off it as long as it's there. And they take over. The cancer cells are smart because they're your cells. They're your cells, but now they're bad guys. Now they're the criminals, and they're going to take over an area, and they're going to wreck it. They'll choke it out. It's like a spider web. It's like an intricate whole array of spider webs, and it can choke out an organ. It can choke out your vital organs, your lungs, your pancreas, your liver, your kidneys. It moves in for the kill. That's what cancer is. It's the mutation of cells, the uncontrolled mutation and replication. So the mechanism that controls our cells' replication, because our healthy cells replicate also. The mechanism that controls that replication becomes defunct. It becomes dysfunctional. It gets screwed up. And the cancer cells, the mutated cells, the bad guys they can multiply uncontrollably. So they're getting spit out like at a factory. These clone cells, these bad guys are getting spit out. That's why cancer stages can advance very quickly if you're continually feeding them the cancer food that they need to thrive. If all you're doing is smoking cigarettes or eating tons of sugar or chemicalized food, lab-made food stuff and ingredients, then they're gonna keep multiplying, and you go from all of a sudden they're like, oh, I don't know what happened. He had a little bit of cancer, and now it's all of a sudden it's stage 4. We don't know what happened. That's what happened. You fed it. You fed the bad guys their fuel that they needed to take over. Uncontrolled replication. That's scary. The bad guy factory is working inside your body and its feet. All you got to do is starve them out. Just starve out the cancer cells and alkalize your body. Okay? So if you're eating all the junk food, if you're eating tons of sugar, if you're eating GMOs and bleach and seed oils that have chemicals in them, residuals of chemicals, then you can't stop. You can't stop the onslaught. But if you stop feeding them, you starve out the enemy, cut off their supply lines, okay, eat clean, eat whole organic food, drink filtered water, you starve them out. And you can alkalize your body, because your body's going to be acidic if you've been eating all these toxins. Then you can alkalize the body with baking soda and water. You could put a teaspoon of baking soda in water, mix it up, drink it once a day, and you'll alkalize your body, and the cancer cells cannot live in an alkalized body. You're providing your body oxygen, and the cancer cells can't survive. The cancer cells want you choked out. They want you living an acidic, toxified, way that feeds their growth and their multiplication. So cancer cells attack weakened tissue. They attack epithelial tissue. They attack damaged and weakened epidermis, your outer skin layer. They attack that, like people who get sunburned over and over again. They attack polluted organs. Okay? If you're eating a lot of white food, if you eat bleached food, bread, flour, sugar, pasta, coffee, you're using white coffee filters. If you eat a lot of bleached food, you're going to end up with prostate or bladder cancer or pancreatic cancer, because those are your filters. That's where it's coming out. It's burning those organs or tissues on the way out. Okay? So if you keep burning those tissues, the cancer moves in. They're like, why does he have prostate cancer? Why does she have bladder cancer? What happened? Why did the cancer attack the bladder? They can't figure it out. Western medicine they never tell you why it went where it went. They don't even try. They don't ever look at it. They'll never look for root causes. Western medicine never, ever, ever, ever looks for the root cause of anything that's wrong with you, because there's no money in curing your disease or dysfunction. There's zero money in that, okay? If you walk in and they say, look, just eat organic, put some baking soda in water for the next 2 months and let's take a look at it again. They make nothing. You pay $75 to walk in the door. They make nothing. They have big bills to pay. These doctors have to pay for all the equipment that they use. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Can you imagine the rent payment on their equipment? Millions of dollars. Some of these diagnostic things that take the PET scans, millions of dollars for that equipment. The payment on it alone is probably $100,000, $200,000 a month or a year. Unbelievable. They've got to make that money. They got to run diagnostics on you and tell you that they might be able to treat it. They might be able to manage it. They can manage it. They don't use the word treat anymore. Just manage. We're gonna manage your symptoms. We're gonna manage this. We can manage this. We can extend your life. Extend it. How many years, sir? Doctor, how many years will you extend it? Well, we're not really sure. We don't know the cause. So, cancer also attacks where you've clogged up your pores, okay? Because when you sweat, you're sweating out toxins. Your body loves to sweat, sweats out the toxins. That's why running, you get the heart rate up, you get the body heated up some, and you sweat out toxins. It's really good for you. But where do we put the antiperspirants? On the armpit, okay? So you spray toxic antiperspirants that have toxins in it and clog up your armpits where you sweat a lot, maybe the most on your whole body. And people do it all day because they don't want the little circle. They don't want the sweat ring on their shirt at work or wherever. And they wear that antiperspirant. And guess where almost all breast cancer cases, the tumors originate? In the upper quadrant closest to the armpit. That's where 75%, I've done the research, 75% of all cancer tumors originate in the upper quadrant closest to the armpit. Because you've locked in the toxins, you've blocked them in, they're locked in there, and that tissue is toxified. And the cancer knows it, and the cells move in, and they build their little nest there. And your body tries to contain it with the tumor. So your body's saving you. It's containing the cancer from spreading everywhere else. It's like, it grabs a hold of it and holds it in. And then the doctors can go in there and pull that out and save you. But it's late in the game. It's late in the game You've been doing something wrong for a long time when you get a tumor, when you get the sarcoma. You've been doing something wrong. You've been getting sunburned in the same spot for years. You've been smoking for years. You've been eating bleached food for years. So let's get into some more cancer food. Here we go. Nitrates. Nitrates are one of the main causes of cancer. Okay, so the concentrated salts that they use to treat meats and make them spicy and preserve them, okay, nitrates, they become nitrites in your body, but they're nitrates in the food. Your body converts them to nitrites and they become cancerous. They're carcinogenic. Okay, big food knows it. Big pharma knows it. They all know it. Hot dogs. You're eating at that grill out, you better look for some organic meat that's not treated with hormones and nitrates. Deli meats. Almost all the deli meats are treated with the nitrates. Almost all of them. I used to love that stuff growing up. But see, when you're growing up, you got a higher octane. You got a higher metabolism. And you can eat some McDonald's and you can eat some hot dogs at the picnics and some deli sandwiches. And your body's going to process it and get rid of most of it. You got a strong body. You haven't been polluting it for 30 years. You know, you're 10 years old or 14 years old. But when you become upper 20s, your metabolism slows down. And your body has less ability to filter out all of these toxins on a daily basis. And it just slows down even more when you get in your upper 30s and then you get to your 50s. It slows down even more. Yep. Now the growth hormones. The growth hormones, cancer loves the artificial hormones. That's why you got to have, if you're eating land animals, if you're eating those, you got to watch out. The cows and the pigs, they jack them up with the hormones to make them fatter, to make the cows produce more milk. They jack them up with the hormones, and they're synthetic. And even the organic ones, it's going to screw up your hormones. And if you do have some tumors growing, you do have cancer cells growing, it's going to be like a catapult for those. Okay, you're helping them grow by eating the hormones. You got to look for meat that says no hormones, no RBGT or RSBT hormones, no antibiotics. The antibiotics mean that the meat's infected from bacteria because the animals are living in the CAFOs and the horrible, dirty, filthy quarters in the barns and the warehouses, and they got to give them antibiotics. So if the food is diseased, you could be eating parasites. That'll give you cancer too. And now they're saying that anti-parasitic cleanses like wormwood, like ivermectin, like fenbendazole, those are killing cancer. Because cancer functions like a parasite. Just like COVID. COVID was a virus, but it functioned like a parasite. Cancer functions like a parasite. It'll grab onto your good cells. It'll grab onto your good tissue. It'll get inside those cells, and it infects. And the parasitic cleanses prevent it from clinging to the cells or getting inside them, and so does zinc. So you want to take your vitamin D and your zinc supplements with quercetin. The quercetin helps the zinc get in the cells and protect it. It's like you want to protect the castle. You got to have soldiers in the castle, not just around it in case the invasion starts getting in. You got to prevent the enemy from getting inside the castle. Okay? Not just on it, not just on the outside, but inside. So you got to protect your skin and you got to protect your organs. And your heart and your brain. The war, you gotta have your own soldiers looking out for you. That's you. That's you reading the ingredients, doing the research, remembering what's what. So then we get into gluten. So gluten is so toxic in America. The bread has so many preservatives and emulsifiers and additives and bleach and all the crazy chemicals and then it's gooey, right? And it gets into your intestines and it stops them up. You get constipated and you get ulcers and diverticulitis and polyps. Okay, you ever heard of polyps? Polyps, polyps. That is the gluten, okay? Could be some of the animal saturated fat, but it's mostly the gluten, and it gets stuck in the colon and rots. And once it starts burning up that epithelial tissue in the colon and creating divots, that's diverticulitis, and you get the IBS, and you get acid reflux, and you get Crohn's, and you get there's so many names out there for IBS basically. Once it's burning holes in your colon, the cancer's coming in there. The cancer's coming in and you get the polyps. You get the polyps, just little burning balls of poison in the colon, in the gluten that's stuck there, and that's colon cancer. That's colon cancer, folks. That's what it is. And that's why I talk about diatomaceous earth, the little plant shells that you can eat that scrapes out that inner lining. You got to do it before you get diverticulitis. If you got diverticulitis, you already got the holes, and then it's scraping against the thin layer that's left there, and you end up with sepsis, bleeding internally. So you got to be careful with that. But before that, it gets to that. That's why it's all about preventative care. It's all about filtering food toxins out of your diet as you go down the road. Life's long. Anybody that says life's short is full of it. Life is long. You got a lot of time to take care of yourself. Okay? The seconds, the minutes, the hours, the days, the weeks, the months, the years, the decades, the century. You can live for a century and not be decrepit, not be on a million medications, not need a bunch of surgery, not be losing your mind and forgetting who your relatives are. There's plenty of centurions who are living healthy lives and they're very happy. And hopefully they just, die in their sleep peacefully or something like that, and they don't have to ever go through the nightmares of a bunch of surgeries and chemo and these medications with all these horrific side effects. That's the goal. That is what holistic living is all about. Sustainability and longevity. That's what it's all about. Petroleum products. All of these byproducts of the petroleum industry. Hexane they use to treat the seed oils. All the seed oils, they're toxic. Corn, soy, cottonseed, canola, safflower, sunflower, all the chips, man. It's almost impossible to find a bag of chips that don't have toxic seed oils in them. You got to look for avocado oil only. Olive oil or avocado oil in the chips. That's all you can find now. That's it. Fluoride. Oh, they love the fluoride. The fluoride comes from, it's a byproduct of the phosphate mining industry in China. Okay? So they're mining and they've got this toxic fluoride. It's a byproduct. And they don't want it on the land there. They don't want it seeping in their water. They don't drip it in their water supply like we do. And they package it up, sodium fluoride, and they sell it. They literally sell it to America, and we put it in the municipal tap water to medicate the masses, to make you dumb because it lowers your IQ. There's a Harvard study on it. Look it up. Lowers your IQ, and it gives you cancer. Okay? It calcifies your bones. Fluoride calcifies your bones. Okay? You don't get shorter when you get older. The fluid between your spine, your spine, the little discs you have, there's fluid in there, and it dries it up. That's why you get shorter. You don't really just get shorter as you get older. You dry up that fluid with the fluoride in the water, and as that fluid goes away, your discs start bumping together. Super painful. And they go in there and they operate. They don't know what they're doing. They'll screw your back up even worse. You have all kinds of spinal problems. It deteriorates. It happened to my grandpa. Yep. He couldn't walk anymore. He didn't even want to live because he couldn't walk anymore. That's sad. Yep. Cancer. It moves in for the kill. It finds the damaged tissue. Bone cancer. Speaking of bones, bone cancer. Okay? If you rot your bones away, your bones need selenium, magnesium, and calcium. Okay? And if you overdo the calcium, you get kidney stones and gallstones. So we drink so much milk in this country. We are the dairy country. We're the only animals in the world that drink milk past infancy and from another animal. And we've got it everywhere. Hollywood, they drink the milk. Drink a glass of milk all the time. Every TV show, every movie, at some part, they're drinking a glass of milk, advertising it. You got it in the yogurt, the ice cream, the sour cream, the cheese, milk. It's everywhere. So you overdo the calcium, you wreck your bones, you wreck your bone formula, and you get bone cancer. Bone cancer. Wow. And then there's blood cancer, leukemia. What gives people leukemia? What could it be, folks? I got one word for you. Glyphosate. If you don't know what glyphosate is, it's 50% of the herbicide called Roundup, okay? And they're spraying it on all of the crops, all the conventional crops, because it dries them out. So they dry out all the crops before they put them in the silos, and then they don't get mold and mildew. So they're saving a bunch of money. So Big Food is using glyphosate, which causes kidney cancer, tumors of the kidneys. It's been tested. Look at Seralini, the French scientist, his team. They ran by the protocol, peer-reviewed science. They looked it up. Glyphosate causes cancer. And then Monsanto came in and tried to retract. They literally did retract the study and said he didn't follow the protocol, but he did. And then it was reinstated. So when you look it up, fake news, big media says, no, that study was retracted. But it wasn't. It was reinstated, but they never published information anywhere to say that it was reinstated. That was their whole goal, would just say it's retracted once and tell everybody and leave it in fake news forever, leave it in Google forever, because glyphosate causes cancer. It's carcinogenic. And the Environmental Working Group and all these other big groups say it's a possible carcinogen. Oh yeah, it's possible. It's brutal. That's what it is. It's not possible. It's brutal. And then there's spike proteins. Now, the world rushed when COVID came through. The world rushed to get their spike jabs, their spike prion, mRNA spike prion jabs. And these spike proteins they're finding now spread throughout the body. They didn't stay in the injected site. They spread throughout the body. And people that got boosters, people got like 5 vaccines inside of a few months or 2 years or whatever. They got like 5 of them. And so they've got these spike prions that mimic viruses and these particles floating around all throughout their body. And they're foreign particles and they're toxic. The body recognizes them as foreign. The immune system attacks them. They're toxic. And they can gather together. They're nanoparticles that use light, and they can actually gather together. So these embalmers are finding these rubbery, strange, long, rubbery clots, vascular clots. They're not made of blood. They're made up of heavy metals. They collect heavy metals in your body, like lead, mercury, and nickel and copper. And they collect those, and they form clots. And then the cancer attacks them, and they're calling it turbo cancer. So people are all of a sudden, kids, healthy kids who got the jabs, all of a sudden have stage 4 cancer. They're like, what? Doctors are like, we've never seen this before. There's doctors blowing the whistle right and left. This is not two guys that they can label conspiracy theorists. This is doctors right and left, all over the place, blowing the whistle, saying, we don't know what's happening, and they're calling it turbo cancer. So if I were you, when the next COVID strain or bird flu or whatever comes around, I would ramp up all of the natural remedies to build immunity, and I got a couple products next to me, and I would clean your liver. I would take a liver detox cleanse. I just bought some of that, and I'd avoid the clot shot jabs if I were you. This is not medical advice. This is just common sense, folks. This is cancer prevention 101. You're forcing, by eating chemicals, you're forcing your cells to mutate and replicate uncontrollably. You're aiding that process by getting toxins injected and eating them and breathing them in from chemicals and putting them all over your skin with sunscreens that are toxic and antiperspirants and burning candles in your house that contain toxins, breathing that in, spraying Febreze, putting antibacterial lotion all over your body to try and prevent COVID. That was a nightmare. Wearing the masks, that breeds bacteria in your mouth, throat, and lungs, and you're breathing in your own carbon dioxide. That kills you slowly. They're proving that. So here's what you do. Medicinal mushrooms, okay? Shiitake mushrooms and reishi mushrooms prevent breast cancer and other kinds of cancer. So I buy wild and organic immune mushrooms. This is a complex of different mushrooms, and it's a tincture, so it's highly potent, highly effective. Wild and organic mushroom tinctures. The mushrooms that grow out of the sides of trees, and they get all the nutrients from the tree, and the tree gets all the nutrients from the soil. Top of the line nutrition. That's how you prevent cancer. This liposomal NAC. This is N-acetylcysteine. This cleans out your liver, boosts your immune system. It's an antioxidant, powerful antioxidant, helps your lungs, helps with breathing. NAC, liposomal. I bought this online 2 days ago on Amazon. It's already here. Clean out your liver. Let your liver do what it's supposed to do. Your God-given liver is making most of the dopamine for your body. Your dopamine that's in control of almost everything, including disease prevention and your immune system. You got to have a clean, strong liver, folks. You want to prevent cancer? Aid your liver in don't damage it. Aid it. Help it. Give it what it needs to stay clean, to get the toxins out. We're all consuming some toxins. You're going to eat some birthday cake or some pizza here and there. You're going to drink some water at the restaurant that came out of the tap. You don't know. They don't care. You got to clean it out. Now, turmeric with black pepper and curcumin, another wild and organic. What a great brand. Wild and organic. Now, I don't get any royalties. I'm not popular enough yet, this podcast, to get any royalties. So I'm not making any money, pushing any meds, pushing any remedies. Hopefully one day I will, but I'm not going to push them. I'll just mention them. Turmeric with black pepper and curcumin is anti-inflammatory. And turmeric is a number 1, 2, or 3 cancer fighter in the world. Turmeric. Cancer hates turmeric. Okay? And then I've got L-tyrosine. I bought the gummies. They got a little bit of stevia in them. L-tyrosine gummies, wild and organic. There's the brand again. I don't know if I'm doing this on purpose or it just keeps popping up. Vegan, non-GMO, L-tyrosine gummies. This is one of the best boosters of dopamine production in the body. L-tyrosine. I'll be taking these regularly. Boost your dopamine function regularly, folks. And guess what? I'm about to wrap this one up. Wrap up the Dopamine Revolution podcast. It's time to end this one. I'm into 34 minutes. good Lord, save people from cancer. I've been doing it for 15 years, 17 years. I've been saving people from cancer. It's my number one shtick. All of my books prevent cancer. All of my books give strategies for preventing cancer. 14 and out, stop smoking naturally in 14 days. Prevents cancer. Don't eat cancer. Modern day cancer prevention. The dopamine revolution. Modern day cancer prevention. Cutting edge cancer prevention. How many people have I saved from cancer? I don't know. I wish I knew. That'd be so cool. Thousands. I know I've saved thousands of smokers that bought my videos and bought my book and bought my natural remedy products. Crave Kicker. Remember that one? Woo! I sold about $250,000 worth of drinks that help people quit smoking by boosting your dopamine. Crave Kicker. That was huge. Now it's Next Level Gum. Cancer prevention. Cancer 101. The High Frequency Holistic Living Network, the elixir of life, the holy grail of brain juice. Promote and protect it. I'm Sean David Cohen. Thanks for tuning in to the Dopamine Revolution podcast. 1 month in, I do it every day. This is the 30th podcast. They just seem to be getting longer and longer every time. It's fine with me. Over and out, folks.